this comp, and I think this is a mistake.
Oh,
they
please give me
failed to
Omen.
create so much. They failed to create distance.
If they do run that comp, they're on defense first. That's it. Have multiple sentinels, the no duelist comp on.
Oh, they
Yes.
changed it. Okay, they went back
Shadows
to
takes this guy.
yeah, they went back to what I think maybe should work a little bit better this time around, Jess.
Oh, I mean, I'm just devastated. No Omen. Also, throughout the groups, I got no Phoenix. I'm sitting here just wanting one of these, you know, niche picks to come up and make a huge difference because let us not forget, Omen wasn't the worst pick, but I think what they've picked here is good because you get your duelist. We're getting a couple of flashes to go with, and I love Astra on this map and many maps, so I think it'll work well, this composition.
I mean, with this new comp, Sean, how do you counter the KO here? What do you do?
Oh, it's going to be very difficult for them to counter the KO, and this is something actually that Gambit dealt with at Masters of Berlin. You go back to when they played 100 Thieves. Steel had a lot of success on the KO on Ascent against Gambit. How have they changed since those moments against KO? That's what we're going to have to find out now because they're running that same comp.
Well, Ascend, they need to win here if they want to pull the series a little bit closer in their favor. Let's jump into Ascend here with Pansy and Hypok.
Yeah, let's jump into it indeed. We do have something that I really want to initially talk about here as well, is seeing that KO and now seeing Nats from map 1 looking fantastic. But we also saw what happened against X10 when he got targeted so directly.
Yeah, literally. In so many rounds, and actually testament to how Cruz actually played that. I said it was one of the best performances from one map alone that we've seen from KO. So a lot of this rides on, again, potentially countering Nats, right? We've seen, obviously, slight adjustment on the composition, so maybe that leans towards a little bit more of comfort on the side of Gambit, but I think it's as well with Ascend. They're probably going to have watched that and just thought, hey, actually,
this works.
Why don't we just try pushing Nats?
That's crazy.
Now, you think map 1, did that work? Not so well.
Well,
Not
now,
so
you know, you got to rekindle that faith, right? You got to kind of bring yourself back together. And it is map 2 time. If you're just tuning into the grand finals, Gambit picked up map 1, and could you believe it, in a comeback fashion as well. And Ascend, hey, they had the lead and they dropped it. And you're right. What is going on between these two? It's so quick in towards that A site. And already we're going to see that pressure towards Nats. He's going to be kind of dealt with towards Tree for now, but he's still got a gun in his hand. And that might be just enough for him. Yeah, good luck targeting this man. He'll do it all with that target on his back. As Starzo now left in the 1v4.
That's a Redgar sets up the green. We'll find the first, actually the second as well from Starzo. That's fantastic work. Defo actually will swing through with Shados. They find it. And again, Ascend, try and pump a little bit, try and bait a little presence, but Gambit proactive on the defense. We don't see this very often from them. It's not often they go looking, they go hunting for a fight here, particularly in the pistol round, but again, diligence-wise, nobody considering the possibility. I think actually Zeke finds Nats in tree, and nobody considers the possibility he's going to swing out of the smoke. It's almost, you want them to follow up on that utility. They're relying on a little bit of a, I guess, a complacent hold on the side of Gambit.
And I don't think we've ever put the words complacent next to the name Gambit, have we?
No.
A little bit of a switch up in positioning as well, I'd say, with that Astra playing towards the A site, even on tree, though. We still saw how well prepared Nats was.
Spike down.
But now a bit of a trade out. And hello, Bone Cold, finding Defo, and now we've got a player advantage towards Ascend. How do they work from this point onwards, though? Can they draw these rotations? Can they find the right place to be? It looks like B might be what they desire, but on the other side, we know who's there. Chronicle waiting. Spectre locked and loaded. Has a quick glance. Sees nothing for now. Does he get any information off this?
Again, good timing on that, though, to use the Aldrone. He's now got his recon bolt again, so potential here if he's given an audio
He's so alone,
cue.
though. Shados is all the way in spawn. Now the contact's made. He has to buy a little bit of time. Just the last piece of utility put to work just before he backed away. Confirmation of 2. And there's that lean through from CT. Nats is en route as well. Chronicle, good for the double. The triple, not quite, as Bone Cold carries on forward. That's the Bone Cold that we know with the Sheriff. And is there any more? Shados, a 1v2. Spike not down, 20 seconds to play with. As Bone Cold trying to be the protector, the bodyguard on this, but has to slip away, sit deeper on the site. But it gives a second, and that might be all Shados needs. A quick flash and a peek. Pushes in, and Bone Cold. That is the man with the Sheriff. It may not be on the Omen, but he's still damn good.
I said this earlier, you give him a Sheriff and any round can look winnable for Ascend. And right there, finding 4 kills. and an opening as well. You can see straight away they drift back towards B. And at that point, you think Chronicle, yeah, the recon bolt, the owl drone uses, the timing's perfect for it. He actually still had 2 shock darts, I'm pretty sure. It goes for the gunfight instead, not able to buy enough time. And unfortunately, in terms of rotations, they get picked apart.
This is a huge turn of events, so just from momentum alone, Ascend desperately needed that. What is that? Look at the info!
Well.
And they just scurry and get out of there like little rats escaping the ship. All noted, all seen. And I like a stack. Look, I'll absolutely back that every day of the week. If you're on Sheriff's Classics, you're trying to make something happen out of nothing, why not give it a go? But for now, this will be, hopefully, clean enough for Ascend, and there's the dash, and actually, Killers is fully white, fully blind. Bonecold needs to be careful here. They can cross this corner if they're feeling themselves. The rifle is in, but they just play as numbers, play as the pack. A 3v3, there's no way this gets more dangerous. Okay, Spike's going A. Okay, it's okay.
Somehow,
Here.
it's
okay.
a 2v2 though.
It's okay. That's fine. Oh, he's got his ult. Okay.
Confirming what they already know. 2 rifles retrieved for Nats and Redgar. And actually, Zeke looking to get a little bit aggressive at the time, and the flash is going to be good for Redgar at least, but can't close it out.
It's whiffy. It's really not that good. Zeke needs to fall away. He's bought a little bit of time, but it ain't much. Still with another flash, though, he should be able to do some work and play cned in potentially. But they do have rifles. And here's that flash, underhand, sends it in. Timing is everything. cned set for success, gets one on the cross, and now down to Redgar, and it's cned to keep things just about in check, but
Thank God for that.
I mean, they found 3 players there, took away those rifles, going to force out the reinvestment. This is a damn close game.
And the important thing there, the stack's detected so early, but still they don't commit the spike, right?
Yep.
They know just on the off chance that Chronicle goes huge again and stops that B-site hit. Again, Zeke, a little bit whiffy, but the information's there early enough.
Yep.
cned can kind of just tuck in and wait for that peek out, with Zeke being a little lower HP-wise. So I was worried naturally a little bit of weapon there, but they come in at the last second. Ascend showing presence towards A. Defo just brazen in the swing there, and cned will punish it.
That's a big amount of information coming through. Shados gets a freebie and a nasty one. Shados hasn't seen anything, and he's still finding them. 2 huge kills, and it's just cned keeping this one looking potentially likely. The 3v3 presented, and they've got no ground. They have to peel away with the spike for now.
So again, Bonecold invest the Hunter's Fury there, but no information gathered on the back of it. Chronicle will be spotted there. Look for Bonecold now to potentially re-aggress towards shore, but the Cosmic Divide will go up just to lock them out of A site for the time being. Ascend will wait this out.
You don't walk this, do you, Bonecold?
Surely not.
You wouldn't do that. Maybe in timing with this, though. Yes,
he
you
does.
do. When cned plays in, he moves through the divide. Great timing, the push and the pull, taking the eyes away from the prize. But the spike now has to get towards the site. Spike going down. I don't think anything's going to stop it. Chip damage enough. Killers is going to respect that and fall away to a new post-plant position eventually.
Spike planted.
Here pretty early on, though, Keyless. Wise to it. Nat's now the last man standing, a 1v2.
And there's the contact made. They now know the position he's working from. They try and stay as a pack, but it's still Nats. One side, gonna be one, the other on the other, and this is just lovely work. And you see Ascend had to really keep check on that. You drop that ball for a second, you allow him that 1v1. He might have exploited it, but Ascend, a lot of things presented there, and they actually succeeded against it.
Absolutely. The awkward thing becomes if Ascend now try and revert back to a slower default and try and poke, because Gambit are showing willingness to greet Ascend, whichever side they... this is, I think, the 3rd time they've shown a little bit of presence early round on A, and this time around they do follow up. It's looking like another stack towards A here. Again, a Spectre, 2 Spectres, sorry, invested here for Gambit. Ascend just going to try and roll on through.
Yeah, investing the other divide as well. It's going to allow them safe passage. Yes, they'll be noticed already on the camera, but that'll be just fine. That's not really the biggest bother. I think they've seen a fair amount.
Yes. figured out exactly where half of Ascend are here, and the Regress's 4 comes through B main.
Let's see if you can keep it looking lush as ever. Starzo and cned in perfect unison, leaving just Redgar, and I think he's already been well and truly discovered. They're lining him up, and they're knocking him down. Ascend gonna keep things chugging forward. But look, after the first map, I can't think it's ever over.
How much do you read into this now? Looking at the start of Breeze and how comfortable Ascend looked, how much do you take away from these first 5 rounds?
Yeah, I've never watched a team where it's always felt so possible for a turnaround to happen. Now, the economy kind of got shaken up a little bit by the conversion of the second by Ascend, and we saw that kind of stack almost work out. The money's been actually kept relatively humble. Obviously, a little bit now building in the bank for Ascend. But I want to see what Gambit do now with a decent purchase. Big information off the back of the flash, and Zeke gonna now try and power on forward. Takes everything he can with him, but now on the other side, Defo. Oh, there it is. Good shot from Defo. Comfortable enough, but it's not the only one here. And actually, Killers, what? He unleashes himself. 2 huge frags, keeping Gambit at bay. And is now down to Chronicle. Locked out, blinded, has no chance for now. Has to rescind for a second.
We'll get tagged out as well. He's going to look to follow up on that information. Just to slow him down a little bit as well. Chronicle, not an awful lot he can do in this scenario. Looks like he will peel away, try and hold on to this rifle. Again, it's so difficult for Ascend to maintain this pace, this level of aggression, right? Because just one round, Gambit can switch it up. We know Nats likes to rotate, and some of these fast hits can get completely shut down by one trapwire, an orb shot from Defo. So far, at least, since starting as they mean to carry on through this half.
Yeah, and just exiting as a pack, keeping as many of these weapons in hand as they can.
They're looking for a big adjustment on the side of Gambit here. Not necessarily in this next round, we'll have to look at the economy, but they need to stop some of this momentum on the side of Ascend. Whether or not they start exploring mid, maybe greet some of this presence towards Catwalk if Ascend opt to go this way against Keyless, man. Just, I love this though. They're moving with intent. You can see how eager they are to try and close out that tag with the owl drone. Gambit actually going to call a timeout here to potentially consider some of the things we've been discussing.
And there's options aplenty. I don't think this is worrying times yet for Gambit. We've already seen that in the first map anyway, but even just at this scoreline, I don't think there's any problems. They have a deep enough strat book, even just at face value, that we know that they have options in this. I think something that's a little different to my eye, at least, is that it's actually Bone Cold who's having a bit of a moment here. We've seen pretty much everyone else from that side have some really big impactful rounds, you know, some influential games, but Bone Cold's been kind of the quiet leader. And now he's kind of leading from the front a little.
And that's a big positive. You talk about maintaining pace and keeping up the pressure. When you have a player that's not always reflective numerically, when you look back at some games, it's always a big confidence booster to have a player like that come online. Again, seen it. I don't want to say he had a quiet map 1, but in terms of the second half of that, he wasn't able to achieve an awful lot on the attack. Again, Defo shutting down a lot of those with just simply rotating. It's really difficult when you're kind of getting battered back and forth and completely locked out of sights, where you then have to, next buy round, you're exploring where the operator is. Makes it really, really tricky.
And we talked about the money, just last round, that it wasn't masses. Now it's starting to really get robust. 5.3, 6.3, plenty of credits now sitting behind this buy for Ascent. For Gambit, it's odds and ends.
And actually, this is key here in the anti-eco.
You should run.
Ascend will show a little presence towards mid. Fury will actually deal with the lockdown here. Defo will find one with the shorty. Quickly traded out though. And find an opening towards A. Actually, Starzo close enough to hear the sound cue. We'll find the first red guard will fall. We'll find the second as well. That's the last man standing. Okay,
not much damage done. We talk about maybe chipping away at it, forcing them some repurchases. Nothing.
And at this point, it doesn't mean an awful lot either. Nope. With a 5-round deficit.
And Defo's been quiet. So actually, most of Gambit have been. Nat's unable to find much impact just yet, and it's night and day. But again, 3 rounds is all they needed on the first. This, though, looks a little bit more commanding. And again, when we look at the map choice, this does sit like you'd imagine Ascend should be able to get across the finish line on this. And hopefully that then opens up the entirety of the map pool, get a full best of 5.
Hopefully.
Would be nice.
Because the next one's a bit of a curveball as well.
It's a bit weird. We'll talk about that when it gets to it as well. But into this one, Seekers do come through and confirm they need to get a bit of a wiggle on. Most of the players eyeing up that B site. So the duo who surprised us, Chronicle and Nats, hitting such high notes on map 1, could do with a bit of that now. They actually peel away.
So on the back of the Aldrone and the Seekers here, you can see cned will actually get picked off there, but Redgar and Shados have pushed up so deep towards A. You can see him pinged out on the minimap.
Are they going to
actually.
check this? They have to check
Starzo
this.
knows exactly where they are. He's pinged them on the minimap.
But I still want Bone Cold Zeke. If they even start trying to play towards middle, really trying to address this, even with just a swing, this is not what I wanted. That's a disaster in the making. And now he even predicts the push-up as well, finding Starzo. Shados has just dismembered this hit. Oh, Redgar as well. That's the Gambit you need to find form.
And again, if they can pull this off in a couple of these rounds, these flanks coming through will create so much paranoia for Ascend, especially on some of these fast hits. They can't continue leaving these huge gaps on the map.
But you were right, though. It was pinged out, right? Like, that was...
Straight away. And you talk about contingencies, especially when you're playing this quickly. Star's obviously playing a huge role in terms of being on the Astra. He can be very late behind some of these executions. But again, the way they come out of tiles there, you think, has he only heard one potentially?
Is it just oh, just be careful? I don't know what the call is there, because as I said, when I see that ping, I think, okay, they're going to at least
cleared.
do something. Because like another utility was put towards it, and I was like, okay, well maybe that's them just trying to show that they'll then maybe double swing it, do something to address it. Nothing really came out, so time for maybe a little bit of a get your heads back into the right space, keep focused. Now they need to keep this moving for Ascend. If they let off the gas for a second, you know that gap gets closed.
Again, Gambit showing hints of being versatile as well. We don't often see them overstep on defense. They don't like to get too aggressive in terms of pushing out all the way. I mean, that's invested. There's 2 of them. There's 2 members that they're looking to flash through mid. They're looking to catch this rotation or this kind of pivot away from B main. And it works perfectly for them.
Yeah, what a great read on that. What a timing to pull it out as well. Timeout will come to conclusion. We said at 3 does get a little unnerving. However, it's only 2 right now, so they could be just fine, right?
Surely.
I'm looking at, I think it's Defo and Shados over towards that B site. I wonder if they get a little proactive on it, but it is, at least at eye test, looking like an A piece for now.
Again, Nat's key in this scenario. He's not looking to get suppressed on site. He's playing deep towards tree. For him to swing back into bail Redgar out if this hit comes through. Ascend creeping closer and closer, and it's looking pretty committed.
Yeah, the rotations are kind of in, though. 2 players already swinging past CT with that deep play coming out from Defo. They feel pretty solid about this, and Nats wants to get in towards it. Redgar already going to spray through. Good for 1, finds killers. Nats tries to thread the needle. Zeke all too aware this time. Fell for it before, not twice. Shados and Redgar might have to respect this now, fall away from Tree, because you can already see the counterplay coming out from Ascend. They want to get aggressive right back at him, and Zeke and Starzo find 2 kills in quick succession, putting such favor by their side if they can get this spike down. Defo.
He's thinking about it.
He's really considering this. It's time to go. Gave it a damn good attempt, but careful now. And cned was ready to get involved as well. Not to be. They back away and look for the next option, which actually isn't a bad shout, but the door gets shut in their face.
Defo had to swap off that operator to make it a little bit easier on the way back in. And nothing to work off, though. 2 smokes for Defo, but you see Ascend set up to greet them here.
Clears the right corner with the spray through the smoke, but it's 2 sitting at very favorable angles on the left side. That's going to make it very tricky. Can't get it done, and now Chronicle caught by Zeke, and another big impact round from the man himself. 3 still stand, and Ascend pick up where they left off. 7-2 now.
Actually, credit where credit's due. Gambit read that perfectly after not feeling any pressure on the side of B-Main. I'm not sure if actually any of Keylez's utility is noted. Actually, did actually eat that flash on the way out. As you can see, Gambit tried to swing out of the cage. try and reduce the numbers on the side of Ascend. But like I said, Gambit read this perfectly. They're set up in the right place, but unfortunately just a couple of engagements not going their way. And we're back in a scenario now after that one-round win. It's almost torn apart. There's 1,800 credits behind this purchase for Gambit. Red Guard's on a stinger.
Yes. Doesn't sit well, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No. And now Zeke's got ult as well. cned has his if he fancies it. On the other side, no masses of intent to read into early. Still going to try and find some of that information. You can see the dog being invested over towards that B site. Going to push up. Don't know if it caught a glimpse. It might have done on Bone Cold if it did just turn in time, but I don't see anyone rotating to support that.
So the big indicator there is if you see Redgar or Nats, where again they're trying to counter Zeke's ultimate here with how deep Nats is playing. He wants his trap wires and his spy cam available for this execute.
Okay, Defo, Shados, now going to be suppressed and have to just have the gun in the hand, and that's going to be the good pick on the first. The follow-up, Shados! Quick as lightning, finding 3 and sending Ascend right on back. Defo wants to take that space, and this is brutal work from Gambit. That site's all theirs. Bone Cold and cned. I wouldn't want to go through there again. It's just a grinder.
30 seconds left.
Oh, there's no way in. There is no way into this. 23 seconds now. 4 players here. Plenty of utility. Shadow still has 2 flashes if he wants to just keep buying time if he wants to. There's one. Just let them know, they're still around. Don't overpeak it, boys.
10 seconds left.
Got to give this one up.
There it is. Walk on in. Only going to get 1. And 3 seconds left. cned still gets Redgar. But it's going to be 3 on the board.
Great adjustment. Fantastic read once again from Gambit. Those trap wires would have been huge if they could have got past the choke point, but Shados stops them at the front door. Massive from him. Again, the first kill is Zeke out.
A third. Dreamy work.
This is interesting though. Zeke's investing into an operator here. Not sure if that will be cycled across or whether or not he's just going to go for an early round peek here towards top mid.
Flash.
Oh.
Nothing on the other side of it though.
I don't think Gambit have really been challenging through middle like this. This hasn't been one of those like, oh, Defo's making a lot of impact here. It's been...
They're losing these rounds on the rotate. They don't need to fight for mid.
Yeah. And speaking of rotate, you can already see the lean back towards that A site. I don't know what the tails are, but it looks like a good read again.
Confirmation there, yep.
Yeah, they're going to be happy with that. That's going to be at least revealed somewhat. Position now considered. Do they adjust off the back? Do they decide to go back towards that B piece? For now, the 4 players in middle looking for the start, and Redgar already going to deny it. That was the kind of split working towards A, and this again keeps telling these concepts of this. Oh! Jumping on the cross, Zeke! What is Zeke trying to do with this? He's getting now out of it.
Actually, you can see Sender stacked up here. The trap wire will confirm cned's entry towards B side.
But it's so geared for a retake, and Zeke looks
They don't even need to retake.
flat. Yeah, Chronicle's doing just fine already. The door was already shut. Nats was on the other side of this. If it was going to be a walk through B, they'd have been aware and maybe hit that rotation through CT. But as you said, they didn't even need to go to that mode yet. So Bone Cold now. You going to do anything for us? Not really. Shados shuts it out, and I've got to say, that was... I feel like maybe Ascend trying something that wasn't needing to be addressed.
No. I think you're bang on the money there. This is almost reminiscent of running out of steam, running out of ideas, potentially now second-guessing themselves. Like I said, a few rounds where Gambit have pushed out, it's built that paranoia that Ascend feel as if they need to slow down the early round. And that one flank actually towards top mid, that one push through A main with Shados and Redgar is almost, this is the byproduct of that.
Yeah, that was the catalyst to all of this. And now there is more than just a window of opportunity. The door's been opened. This could be 5-7. We have to look at what's coming back in for this, though, for Ascend. They are down, at least on Bone Cold there. Purchase not perfect. Let's see what they can do. Looks like an A hit coming in.
Again, look, Defo controlling all of B main. Already the rotation comes through from Gambit.
The theory is exceedingly strong from Gambit, but they still have to deal with the pressure that's coming their way. Redgar! Oh my word, Redgar! How are you alive in this? Deals with such pressure so well. And Starzo knows he is now just absolutely surrounded. The spike's in enemy control. He cannot get across that. This would need something, somewhat of a miracle here.
Another round where you see them almost baited in by the confirmation on the back of Zeke's utility, Bone Cold's utility as well. Gambit welcomed them with open arms. And what looked disastrous now is looking like a 7-5 half, which is a miracle for Gambit.
Their ability to adjust whenever they need it. Redgar to shut down this chapter. 5-7, Hypoc. This is looking far more feasible than it did initially.
That's half the comeback required on map 2 for Gambit, because they've already done most of the legwork. A pistol round, a round 2, right back to an even game. How Redgar finds a second here,
I don't know,
is beyond me. He has no right to find that second kill.
But it's not the first time we've seen him deal with that sort of presence as well. He's so good at handling that sort of pressure coming his way. Still, as you said, good for 2 in that when I felt 1 was probably more than enough. However, speaking of more than enough, 5-7. That scoreline's much closer now than what we had on the first, so maybe not even the comeback needed. Who knows? A whole other half to go, and the desk to talk you through the first.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, like you said, much, much closer. We've seen Gambit play Ascent already yesterday. This is much better, Sean.
This is preparation gone to perfection at the end of that half. The way they countered the null command by, again,
So good.
just chilling in their spawn. Nats is idle in his camera, holding A for Chronicle. He has a cage at B. Also, you have Redgar back there on the Astra in Astral form, ready to help out either side as well. Their rotations were so on point. They countered the KO perfectly.
I mean, Bone Cold for the first half of that half. I felt like that first half had 2 whole halves
Yes.
to it. It was like a whole match
really did,
in of itself. And the big thing to remember here is that for Bone Cold, he's going up against a Gambit side that historically has a defensive sidedness on Ascent. Now, if you don't win that half decisively, you are staring down the barrel of probably a loss if they keep up that trend. So that is my big worry here, is that Bone Cold, he had a good first 5 rounds. He couldn't keep it up into that second half of that first half.
Yeah.
Oh man, Gambit have their number, and I gotta throw it out there, guys. I gotta eat my words. I said Ascend had counter-stratted their opponents. Looks like maybe their opponents have just gone that step further.
This is crazy because Defo over there on the Jet is 3-7. They took him out of the game early. They caught him on some off timings in A main and pushing into market over at B. Keelis caught him once, and he had no success. Even the Blade Storm whiffs, it didn't matter. Gambit didn't need that because the strategy and tactics prepared to counter Ascend, they look like the more prepared team here.
It really does. The moment we saw Ascend getting into the sites, their post plants, the layering of how they would take Gambit out on the way back in, brought a lot of those first rounds into the game along with Bone Cold. Once Gambit figured that out, you mentioned the null command on round 10, how they sat back and everything was available from both Redgar and Nats to be used in the round. You can tell how comfortable they are in reading and even giving Ascend a little bit of space before Gambit attacks again.
Well, Ascend, they do have 7 rounds here. Let's jump into the second half with Pansy and Hypoc and see if that will be enough.
It's the big question, isn't it? Because I think most of us, when we look at this matchup on paper, if it starts at 2-0 for Gambit, the reverse sweep becomes something of a fable at that point. Now, we are always happy to be proven wrong, but I think Ascend really do need this.
They do, in terms of confidence, in terms of stabilizing in a best-of-5 series. This is huge for them to close out and not to throw another lead.
Yeah, I think that's the bigger point, right? Is that mental game between these two will become so hard to get around. It starts with this. The pistol in the second half can set you up and tee you up to get to those double digits for Ascend. That could be incredible for them. And Zeke, the man to step in towards that pick towards main. Eyeing up the spike, though. It's working up short.
Gambit drifting towards this 3-player stack. Actually, the Trailblazer are going to plant the seed of doubt towards mid. Actually, Zeke and Starzo will swing through. Nats and Redgar fall.
No doubt in Ascend's mind. They are still holding the right place in the right time. Shados is about to be in danger, and he is. Zeke is taking control of this round. 3 big picks, leaving just Defo in a 1v5. Not much step, but the cross is not available. Ascend get what they need. It's the start to potentially shutting down what could be a Gambit chapter.
A nice little setup there on Amen. This is the sort of thing I've talked about. If Ascend are able to get a good read, they set up and they look so comfortable to greet this pressure. Zeke actually playing closer contact, but cned baiting in the middle, playing just behind bricks there, taking first contact and waiting for Zeke to counter peek. Look for Ascend to try and replicate that in a few of these rounds on their defense. But also, I mean, Zeke's got to make use of the 0 point here. Particularly that 20 to 30 second stalemate if Gambit do want to continue playing slow. Bone Cold and Zeke need to suck with their utility and make the most of it. But cned.
He has to get out of there because they're trying to hunt him down right now. Tries to slip towards CT, but takes a little bit of the space back. The pace change from Gambit is so apparent, but already it's fine. Ascend are happy with all of this. None of the fights break a sweat, and it's another Prime Gaming flawless coming out. Ascend off to the absolutely idyllic start here in the second half.
I'll kill you.
A perfect opportunity for this bonus as well. Making sure that was flawless on the way in. Good ultimate progress as well for Zeke.
Nice from Zeke there as well. What a pickup for Ascend when they got him on board.
Yeah, it's safe to say it was rather underwhelming. Kind of maybe a role mismatch when we did see him debut on G2, but a true diamond in the rough for this roster.
See if we can make it shine this round. Right place, potentially right time. And cned starting to get a little aggressive. Tag towards
He's getting
Chronicle.
curious.
He's feeling it now.
Actually, on the flip side, Defo somebody you look towards on Gambit's attack to come online. See that there, 3 and 9. A shaky performance so far on Ascent. Bit creep closer and closer. Actually, a little bit of a rotation come out from Ascent. Now cned second guessing it.
Yeah, he's going to slip through towards Tree. Back up. There's Starzo, who's over towards this side, and of course Zeke. And actually seeing that, he's going to keep him posted here. But cned is still cned, and he might want to do cned things. He might just walk that, because Starzo's looking like he's thinking about it too, and the timing, he just misses it. But wait, they don't know he's here. Oh no, Starzo! They have no idea! He gets 2 out of nowhere, and this is meant to be the bonus round. It's a 3v3. Redgar, Nats, and Chronicle not loving this. And cned, he makes the madman drop. Gets down in their faces, and now just Nats presented the undesirable scenario. They face together, and they win together. Ascend gonna push up to double digits.
Lay the foundations to close this half out a little more comfortably. And cned's willingness, we've seen a similar play actually here with that smoke just coming out of heaven to try and confirm that plant underneath. Again, it's weird, it's unorthodox. Gambit aren't prepared for that sort of thing. And now Ascend in total control of the second half, really looking for Gambit to make something out of nothing on this next round in particular, but we're looking at one more buy round, Lauren. We're looking at one more buy round.
It's not over till it's over, though, with Gambit.
No, exactly.
Until that final round, that final kill ticks over, it ain't there. And they know that, and Ascend need to know that now, too.
Yeah, Gambit throw a little into this round. Sure what's behind it, but they want to do some damage, maybe keep the economy in check on the side of Ascend. Will be noted now. Lots of contact around the map. Gambit look poised. Actually, again, leaning towards a 3-player stack on the side of Ascend.
It's the B main control that's making me so nervous, though.
Yeah.
If they try and pinch through towards B, the crossfire could already be in place, and Zeke's just already cut off Nats. So they're actually trying to slip through spawn, and they might be able to do that. With killers going down, there's an option for a Zeke. Tries to stop it before it starts. cned gets one in the back!
Way.
How did he even get that? And now 3, and Zeke's all too aware. He can't quite convert on the second. Redgar still stands. Starzo, though, there's the aiming control becoming a problem. As Chronicle, he was a highlight on map 1.
I have the spike.
Has the undesirable task of trying to find 3 players standing at the moment. Taps the spike. No one going to take that initial bait.
30 seconds left.
Chronicle looking for his first potential victim. Spike plant comes in, the spray comes out, and cned from above. It's 11 on the board for Ascend. And this is the lifeline they need to bound back in this.
From the front.
I have to take a look at actually how Gambit sit after that.
Because they bought in, right?
The age-old count to 3, pull the trigger. cned finds one. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's going to be awkward if... Yeah, it's awkward. I mean, the only saving grace is rifles. One Spectre
True.
in the hand of Nats. Yeah, quick scan of the utility. It's not looking terrible, but...
But talk about playing with heart here for Ascend. They just had a almost fatal map 1. That could have sent you spiraling. And they found a little bit more in the tank. And now we wait to see if they can close. 2 players in middle, cned on the other side. This man exceeds brilliance, gets one and backs away, looks for the follow-up. He's feeling himself just a touch. Lingers around. And we know that Defo's on the other side. And he holds his nerve.
Defo doesn't want to give away another peek here, cned. Whether or not he wants to re-aggress towards me, you can see now Bone Cold making his way over, whether or not that's going to be a recon bolt for cned to potentially confirm something, but again, this B-side hold is beautiful from us, and there's almost no weakness here for Gambit
And Zeke,
to identify.
he's still got a flash. He's still got what he needs, and he's been holding this for a while, and they line up so perfectly. Takes down Nats with ease. cned still controlling towards middle. The underhand flash in the swing. It's everything you wanted, but with Bone Cold going down, mid's now a little open, and cned has to be ready for what's coming his way. He reads it well, he repositions well, but he has to fall back from the angle.
He's also managed to get out, but again, we'll confirm now Shados' presence in B main.
10 seconds left.
But time!
There's nothing left for them to do here, Lauren.
They have no time to be playing with here. There's no more picks to be had. This is going to be 12 on the board. I don't think Gambit can do anything to deny it, and Ascend make it to 12. And I've got to say, from start to finish, Zeke and cned that round to me. Lovely coordination between the two.
It's just night and day. This is what you want to see from Ascend in terms of momentum, holding on to it. Again, maintaining that pace, maintaining that level of control that we've seen before. Gambit look lost for answers this time around.
They do. We haven't seen the timeouts coming in,
Nope.
any of this. They're just kind of going through the motions.
Any value from this default, which we credit Gambit for so often.
Yeah. Well, Ascend have...
Look at the setup here.
Yeah, they are so prepared for this, and away we go. cned goes in, anti-flash! Oh, that could have been the icing on the cake. It's not to be. Nats, the destroyer of dreams, happy on the other side. And Investio as well. Zeke has to respect this now.
Trying to pick up the pace a little bit here.
Oh, no way! Nats goes down to Zeke. I thought he had him dead to rights. It wasn't to be. This is scrappy, and that's not where Gambit thrive. It's where Ascend come online. They find so much momentum in the brutality of it all. Shados, Redgar, and Defo. Killers, be careful now. There's 2 players. He's going to make mincemeat of one, but it's a good trade out. It's enough to secure the site for the spike plant.
A little opportunity here for them to set up. They're not going to play this aggressively. Shados might even have an opportunity to drift back into B main. That could be huge for Gambit in this post plant. Bone Cold 40 HP, looking like he's going to be first contact on the way back in.
Flashback up in a couple of seconds as well. Shados can run this now. A pivotal position, and Redgar wants to try and play off the back of it as well. That's the first challenge. He wins. Shados! That is everything he needed, but Redgar is right there in support. The unison works well, and Gambit at least get another on the board. If this can continue, I don't know, but it's enough at least to get over the line there.
Well, they need a couple more. They need to be flawless in terms of building up the economy. But a lifeline, at least, for Gambit. 6 more to find.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, for any other team.
Yeah, very valid point. Speaking of ultimates, we haven't really talked much about it. I mean, we've still got Stars on his.
Not been an awful lot of reliance on.
No, not really. Shados as his, Defo as his. It's not been the biggest part of this. And Bone Cold just destroyed 2 of them. Look at the HP on Nats and Shados. No way is this how it goes down. Defo slices through, refusing to go down in moments like these. He tries to power forward, ult still out, looking to maybe catch off Zeke, get aggressive towards CT. That's the name of the game for Defo. Leaves the 2 on the site, ignores them almost. As Chronicle now confirms there's still 2 here. Do we re-engage? Yes, we do, and Defo is the one at the helm. They clear the site and the spike goes down.
Need that back.
You start to get
Spike
a little
planted.
curious, nervous if you're Ascend, because where did that hit just come from?
Defo showing signs of life here. Stars I can find anything on the way back in. Big factor will be Gambit need to maintain this economy. They need to hold on to this buffer. make sure some of these rifles come across, make it a little easier on the way back in. Not like he wants to entertain it at all. You can see the investment of utility towards B main. Well, the seeds of doubt. See a very late Trailblazer here. Ooh,
Did he see
Starzo didn't spot
another?
him.
Shados is a lucky boy at 15
Yeah.
HP. He could have been dead. But it will be 3 making it out. Shados being one of them. And I'm pretty sure Shados and Nats were the 2 that received the vast majority of the flak from that initial
From the Odin,
spam
yeah.
coming out.
There was a moment there where there was 3 of them lined up on the X-ray, and I think actually enough damage is done where Keyleth finds a kill with the Nano Swarm as they try and force through. It's Nats who actually falls here. Somehow Defo gets ahead of this, so far ahead of this it feels.
What an influential round for him.
The Chronicle as well, with that Owl Drone, it's so bold to attempt that. The timing has to be crucial, making use of that, but some vital information fed back across.
We go again. Waiting with bated breath to see if Ascend can close out this game, or Gambit are just simply the immovable objects. Starzo does need to respect this and fall away. Allow cned to maybe pick up that mantle. So we see the beginning moves from Gambit.
Well, it's interesting to see a couple of light armors on the side of Ascend, whether or not that's trying to maintain the economy or trying to make sure they can continue purchasing operators for cned. Gambit again look to explore mid. Spike not committed anywhere just yet, so Gambit want to try and find an engagement, create an opening for themselves. So you can Bone Cold though, just in both information tools ready and waiting. Bone Cold will actually find Redgar there.
Was that through smoke? I feel like it was.
Yeah.
But Defo looking like he might be on track for a trade, and he is. That's Killer's now punished towards the top mid, which will cut off some of these rotations. That's actually a huge pick to garner.
This again, Defo finding.
Oh, Chronicle, this patience.
Well, now with the flash,
left.
it should give Ascend a good idea of what's about to go down.
Defo, you still need to be key in this one, and Bone Cold's got him across the map. cned still stands as well. This could be the one. This could be the round to take him across the line. Nats, the last one alive here, and Ascend bound back, 13-7. There is life in them yet.
And that's huge. We talked about this in terms of a best of 5 to answer back after a deflating finish to map 1. The confidence for Ascend now with basically a bracket reset, right? It comes down now to a best of 3.